AITA for not being upset that my wife cheated. So, a bit of background. I was raised by hippie parents, I guess, and I think that really rubbed off on me when I was then dating. So I had a very free love attitude to dating and sex. I slept around a bit, had a few one-night stands, was involved in polyamorous and open relationships. I think I've described myself as aggressively pansexual in my idea of a perfect world. Having sex would be as socially acceptable as handshakes. I'd happily have sex with pretty much anyone I'd know. But I know this isn't the norm. I'm well adjusted socially, and I have a high degree of empathy, I think, and I understand that most people aren't like that. So I am happy being platonic friends with people. And even if I'm very sexually attracted to someone, if they're not interested in me like that, I'm still happy to be friends. Then in 2015 I met my now wife. She wasn't like that. She was purely monogamous and felt that sex was very personal and intimate. We met each other through friends of friends, and we vibed really well and enjoyed hanging out with each other. And then when we were chilling at her house one day, watching an Avengers movie, and her housemate had to leave, and it was just us on the couch, one thing led to another, and we slept together. After talking about where we were at, we decided to stay as friends, but we just liked hanging out with each other too much, and then it happened again. And we had another talk, but I really liked her, and I figured if I could do monogamy with anyone, it would be her. So I made the decision. Monogamy it was, and, well, we grew together, and apart from the odd, craving for diversity, I was super happy, and I feel like I was falling in love. So I proposed because I realized that I would choose spending the rest of my life with her over polyamory. Got married last year, living our happily ever after, until last weekend. So my wife went to a work function. Originally she planned to be home no later than 10, but then just before 10 she messaged me saying she was staying out and will crash at a friend's house. I didn't think it was a big deal and said okay, see you tomorrow, love you. She got back the next day, and she was acting a bit, noticeably a bit reserved and withdrawn. Figured she might have been hungover. Made her a cup of tea and asked if she needed anything. She shook her head and said that she just wanted some alone time. I thought something might have happened and said okay, I'll be here if you need to talk. She didn't look at me, and I was really worried that something awful might have happened. She kept being withdrawn over the weekend, and I was really worried that something awful might have happened, and kept running through horrific scenarios in my head, like maybe she was assaulted, or maybe like a work friend had died horrifically and she witnessed it. On the Monday, she went to work. I work from home without a word, and came home and was still not talking to me. That was when I started putting my foot down. I wanted to respect her need for space, but I was also extremely worried about her, and it wasn't characteristic for her to push me away. We always felt like a unit, like no matter what we were always on each other's side. So I said to her, I need to know what's going on. Please, this isn't like you to shut me out. And that's when she burst into tears and told me that they went clubbing and she met some younger guy who was really hot, and they danced for a while, and she got really drunk, and she ended up going back to his place and having sex. At this point I laughed and was like, oh honey. I was worried that something horrible had happened. And then she looked at me like I had just shot her dog and said, you don't care? I said, it's not that I don't care, I just don't think of these things the same way you do. She claims that I have never cared about our relationship and asks me if I ever cheated on her, and I said that I didn't, but she's being so hard on herself and upset. Like if she made a mistake she's punished herself more than I would ever want to about it. And also she was incredibly drunk, and decision making when you're drinking isn't that bad. I don't want to share this with friends and family to get their perspectives because it's quite a private thing. She says I'm an asshole for not caring. But like, she's just punishing herself and I still love her. Am I really the asshole here? It just strikes me as incredibly possessive to be angry at her about it, when I've always had this kind of free love mentality. AITA for letting my pregnant fiancée think I'm cheating on her. My fiancée Jen is insecure right now. Given that she's 32 weeks pregnant, I still think she's beautiful no matter what, but telling her that makes no difference. Now, for the past 6 years we have been basically inseparable. I actually enjoy her company, to a point of me not really enjoying going out without her. She's fun, and she makes my night way better by having her around. We also are very open with communication, and we aren't blind, so we will 100% tell each other when we find someone else attractive. Well, given this detail, I may have fucked up a bit, because I told Jen that I thought my buddy's GF was gorgeous and had nice hips. This is not an uncommon comment, for the record. It was merely bad timing, because she's pregnant and insecure. I shouldn't have said anything, but again, we have always talked like this to each other. So I just wasn't thinking. Just 2 months ago she pointed out some very attractive man, and said he has arms that could toss her around the bedroom. Lol. Neither of us act on anything like this. It's all talk, and sometimes leads to extra spicy time. That's all. But anyways, I made the comment about my buddy's GF, and she agreed with me at first. But it soon fell apart. See, I go to my buddy's house quite often, and she's always invited, but she's been declining because of being uncomfortable. The baby is on her sciatic nerve, or saying she doesn't really want to be around people because she feels gross. But she did go with me 2 days ago, and I guess I let my eyes wander a bit, and she noticed I didn't notice. She asked me to bring her home and was being super quiet, and when I get it out of her, she says, "You told me she's gorgeous and has nice hips, and then you guys, I fuck each other in front of me." I asked what she was talking about, and she openly said, "Are you fucking her? 'Cause you're there a lot." So I said, "Don't be silly, of course not." I drop her off. She tells me to go have fun, so I go back there. When I get home she was in bed, distant. I ask, "What's wrong?" And she said, "You just left me here thinking you were cheating and go back to hang out with her with zero qualms." She wasn't there when I got back. I said, "You told me to go back and have fun, babe. I didn't realize you were serious." She says, "As if you didn't realize I was serious," and turns to go to bed. Now I'm feeling incredibly stupid, but I don't even know what to say to her. It's tense in my house. AITA.